I've finished yet another exam. I have one more exam left, and then I'm done for my first year of university. So yeah, feeling good. I mean, apart from that, I just apply for a job. But awesome. This exam that I just did, it was computer systems. So you had like assembly stuff, C, low-level things, you know, the kernel for Linux, processes, files, the like. So it's put me in a low-level mood. I want to get back on my UTC CPP library. That's right. It's just this here. Cool. Maybe zoom in a bit. So yeah. I can't remember the last time I worked on this, but I want to get back on it, and yeah, get some work done. Did I just switch files? I did. Okay. Let's open my terminal. Just go into my file here. You can see I have nothing to commit. So can't remember what I did last time. Probably would be good to keep track of it somehow, but I suppose I could just also watch my video. I think let's just work on all the functions, right? So here, whoops. Here I have, yeah, that's right. I have the XFBIN reader. So if you look at the, yeah, so we have this struct, the XFBIN reader here. It's a struct just so everything's public. Really, I'm just going to call it a class. I prefer to only use structs for things that are like structures, like data structures. But a class isn't that. A class is more like an abstraction. So like I know in C++ they're really interchangeable, but conceptually I would prefer to use a struct only for data fields that were like the only functions you have, or like access functions. That's it, nothing else. Or like maybe some like calculations, but like that's it. Yeah. So XFBIN reader is the class here. It has an XFBIN which it returns, right, because it reads from something. Well, okay, so it takes in data, binary data, right? Yeah, and then it parses it. So really, this is an XFBIN file reader. That is really what this is. So I might have to rename that later, but for now, should be okay. Like this. So yeah, parse header, parse index, parse chunks. I believe I already finished parse header. So if I go here to the CPP, this macro takes compilation. Oh, that's right. So I don't know if I was working on this when I recorded it. What? I don't know if I was recording when I did this, but I got this macro. Whoops, with help from Claude, just to kind of make error handling more simple. So like before, I would have to basically include all of this code for every single time I wanted to use my read function, right, in my KojoBailey library, because it's a function like an error, and so on. So I wanted to have something similar to Rust. So in Rust, you would do, you know, you have your let file signature equal data.read stir for question mark. And the question mark would return on error. Like return an error, basically. Or like propagate an error, let's say. So what I've done is I've pretty much done the direct equivalent using auto, flag signature, and then using try as a macro. Now the downside is that this only works on GCC and Clang, which is really annoying. Interestingly enough, this actually works, well, maybe not so interesting, but this works for all compilers, like including MSVC. Like this is standard. This would work. But obviously you don't like it because like, it's not clear that file signature is a variable being created, right? So I opted for this instead, so I can just wrap this part as you would for the question mark operator, and then I have that. What it means is that this only now compiles on GCC and Clang, but well, as you can see here, but that is honestly not too bad. Also, on that note, I do have Clang. I actually wanted to try switching to Clang because I think Clang is better error messages than GCC. Like I was looking at reasons between Clang and GCC, and one of them was that Clang is better diagnostics, or whatever the word is, better error messages, and yeah. However, I do like GCC. It's part of GNU as well, so you know I'm attached to it that way. But also Clang is part of the LLVM. Well, it uses the LLVM, right? Because it is the Clang LLVM, I believe. Which is also good for compiler development. If you're interested in developing compilers, then using Clang can be useful for that as well, because you can be familiar with it, right, and do that. Whereas GCC is not so straightforward. So if I were to try using Clang in this project, I wonder how I would do that. So let me go ahead and actually go to my CMake file. Not that. CMake lists, right? So here, I don't know where I'm specifying the compiler. Maybe it's like a global config. Project set sources. Yeah, so let me go ahead and ask Claude here. How would I switch? How would I change my CMake project to compile with Clang instead of GCC for C++? Oh, so I'm aware that I think Clang gets features earlier than Clang does, but you know, obviously I can still have both compilers. But if Clang is just better to use for, like, you know, error messages and stuff, I prefer to use it where I can. Yeah, I would not want to do this. So I can use environment variables. How do I do that? How do I set those environment variables? Linux. I guess I could do it from my hyperlink config, maybe. Inline only, in bash, okay. For the current shell session, or permanently in bash rc, oh, it was at hrc. Makes sense. So, okay, so it's tied to my terminal. For CMake project, probably on the inline approach, so it doesn't globally override GCC for everything else. Only affects that command. What if I do want to override? Okay, well, I guess I should start by only using it for this project, right? Instead of going so drastic. So first of all, why is this? What's happened? What did I change? Alright, I changed to a struct. So I'll compile that in a second. So let me try. I mean, I'll commit it in a second. So what is it? So it's CC equals Clang. Did I put that before? By that point, why don't I just use them as D flags? Because I guess this is simpler, right? So CC equals Clang. CXX equals Clang++. CMake B build. Right? That was with GNU still. So that didn't seem to work. What did it? CMake build. It says Clang. I can't tell. I'm getting different errors, right? I think. And if I change it back, GCC, CXX, well, let me just use that. If I change this to G++ and GCC. Now if I compile again, same errors. That's weird. What's wrong? Did I even compile this before? Binary view does not name a type. Maybe it's supposed to compile before. Okay, let me try again. I don't think that's GCC. I mean, I don't think that's Clang. So CMake B build DC make C compiler equals Clang. DC make CXX compiler equals Clang++. Okay, so that's now it's Clang. I don't know if my Clang's up to date. Clang V maybe version 22.1.5. To be fair, it's probably up to date enough, right? I don't need to worry about it. Found candidate GCC installation. What's that mean? I don't know. So now if I try to CMake build. Okay. Yes, these are definitely different errors now. Ooh, okay. No, so there's no float 16T and B floats. Interesting. So this actually doesn't compile with Clang. I didn't know that. I wonder why that is. So let me go into Compile Explorer to investigate this further. I know that GCC gets features faster than Clang does, I think. Right? Oh, what? Oh, right, because it's LLVM. That's true, actually. So it's C standards for GCC, but Clang actually gets faster for C++ standards. Oh, well, shit then. That's awesome. So C++, have a look for Clang. Well, x86, 64, Clang. All these, you want to look for an actual version though. 22.1.0 seems to be it. Right. So if I try to compile again, no, Clang version, whoops. It should be up to date because I do periodic updates. Yeah, 22.1.5. So it's mine actually more up to date. Yeah, mine's actually more up to date. But for some reason I don't have floats. So if I include standard floats, does it recognize the header? Seems to. Can I show the output? Here. Yeah, we'll see undefined reference domain. Just do the boilerplate. That's fine. And if I just send it float 16T, foo. Undeclared standard. Huh? Huh? That's weird. But I'm including standard float, no? Or is that just not recognized? If I include IOStream or something. Yeah, so there's no type named float16t. Interesting. So Clang standard float. Actually, let me just look at the website. CPP standard float. So library header. It is C++ 23, so it should be implemented by now. But it's optional. What does optional mean? Is there like a FAQ for CPP reference? Index maybe? No. Give it a search here. Just misclick my drive. Optional. CP reference optional in brackets. Yeah, here you go. Stack Overflow. You're right, and you click sequences. It means the symbol is optional for the C++ programmer to use, not the compiler to support. What does that mean? So this guy's right. It means that the part of the syntax is optional. So it should be compiler. So why doesn't Clang go standard float? Clang standard float. Am I missing something? This was what, a year ago. No responses yet. Not implemented in libc C++ yet. Okay. This is an issue. Okay, that's weird. That's weird. Why doesn't Clang yet support standard float types, and how can I get them to work for Clang, since I was using them in GCC and kind of need them? That's weird. So I'm using a different standard library. What's the difference between libcc and libstandard C++? Let's say CC. It's not missing a standard tag. That's weird. Okay, so let me run this command. Sick. Okay. But I'm compiling with CMake with the standard set to 23 or what? Yeah, 23. Right, I checked Clang's version, not Clang++, I suppose. But that's the same one. It's up to date. Oh my god, I keep opening the wrong thing. This damn chicken. Same. No, different, okay. Let me try compiling again. So I can just send in my output directly. Where is my mouse? There it is. That's weird though, because I think it's all the types, right? Yeah, for F32 and also F64, they all don't work. And 128 doesn't work either. But I suppose I can use aliases with it. So what is if ndef standard CBP float 16t? Okay, so let me open up my binary library. Because this is obviously quite important. for general compiler support. So CD projects, binary, library, you vim that up. Have a look for the includes. There we go. I mean, these are just for abbreviations, to be fair. I could just disable them altogether, but no, I do want them to work. So how do I get this to... How do I get this? How do I... How do I change this to work for all compilers? Or at minimum, GCC and Clang. Already doesn't work for MSVC anyway, so fuck it. Okay. Yep. Right, so it's just basically mega unreliable right now. That is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. But fuck it. Gotta do what you gotta do, right? So let's compile this library. How do I actually do this? I can't remember. All these years of C++ and I still can't remember how to do shit like this. That's using GNU. No issues there. But if I assume if I switch to a different compiler, it will start getting pissy. Yep. Okay, that's on Clang. Builds should get an error. Yep. So let me try these suggestions then. So I hate using macros, but what can you do? So if has include, first of all, that's obviously quite important. Although that doesn't seem to be an issue, so I will actually ignore that. Because that seems to already be a thing for Clang as well. Just doesn't have the types for some reason. So namespace Kojo, if defined, I'll do F32 first. So hashtag, is that a thing? If defined? Okay. Standard CPP float 32T. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. I can't even indent it. I guess it's just a rule. I don't know. Else, yeah. Why can I not indent this? I can do it manually. No, actually, that's fine. Using, yep. Else using F32 equals just float. And end if, yeah. Like that. That's F32. And see if that gets rid of that error. Gets rid of that error. Yep. And if I switch back to GCC, so G++, GCC, and try to see make builds, will it be fine? Yeah, so it compiles fine on GCC, regardless. So I can just copy this pattern for the others. So this would be Jesus Christ, right? We're getting rusty already with NeoVim. Else using F64 equals double. And those are fairly safe. These ones are unreliable, but what can I really do realistically? Float 128 I mean, like, it's one of my biggest frustrations with C++, is that despite being a low-level language, it's still, like, it took this long to get these, like, types in, which are quite fundamental to having, like, safe software, cross-platform software. Float 128. Okay, that's for GCC and Clang. That's okay, I guess. So now this will also only compile on GCC and Clang. Well, it might work for, well, this should work for MSVC and any other compilers that support standard float. So, yeah, fuck it. Obviously this is quite messy, but oh well. That's our brain float as well. Whoops. What the fuck? Paste. Okay. Using BF16 equals, I think just this, right? BF16, yep. End if. And same thing here, just minus the B. F16, I think. No, float 16. These are all different. Float 16. Okay. Alright, and I have to change. Ooh, elif. Okay, I didn't see that. So it's elif defined float 16. Otherwise, it'll just be undefined, which isn't ideal, but because then it just won't work. But it's like this. Like if you're gonna use my library, you need to use a compiler that supports it. I don't know. It's temporary anyway. This should get solved eventually. Like, to be fair, it could take like years. So I don't know. But I'll just do what I can, which is this. What the fuck? Defined size of float 128. Okay. I'll just take the AI's word for it, because this is just, yeah, quite specific. Right, I need to actually change these as well. There should be B float. Looks good. I mean, it doesn't look good, but it looks correct. So let's see, make build this. It should build. Don't know why it's so slow. Okay, and let's try building from CMake, Clang even. Compiles. So I will go to my README as well and update my documentation. I don't even know if I've updated my documentation yet for this. What the hell? Wait, what? Okay, I guess Markdown isn't working right now for my tree sitter. But the whole NeoVim tree sitter situation is really shit, and I don't have to fix it. So it's really annoying. Like, I love the NeoVim keybinds, but like actually like having like the config work is quite frustrating. But like here, unfortunately, due to slow implementation of the standard float types, this may not work across all compilers, but I have tested it for GCC and Clang. GCC version, Okay, that's a bit too much. GCC version 16.1.1 and Clang. I can't remember. Sorry, Clang plus. 22.1.5. I assume this is the same. Yeah. Okay. Sick. So git commits. We'll git add first, then git commit. Get working on Clang. Okay, that's been compiled. So now, or pushed rather. So now I should be able to just take those, right? Git submodule update remote. Good. So now if I try to cmake builds, I should get different errors now that are not related to that. Yep. So now the issue is with binary reader.header file, which doesn't compile on both. I don't know how this even escaped me. Binary view is because of this. Yep, that's why. Don't know how that happened. In the meantime, give me an example of, okay, I heard Clang has better error messages than GCC. Give me some examples. Because I'm curious. Obviously I'll find out myself, but just right now. Diagnostics is the word. Missing semicolon. GCC expected this. Clang says expected semicolon after expression. So it just tells you where to put it. And I assume it'll give you the line as well, right? Template errors. Oh my god, those are huge. A wall of internal template citation noise playing dozens of lines before you can find the actual mistake. No machine function call to sort. Wait, seriously? I mean, that's really huge, because like most of like the issues that people have with C++ errors are due to template fucking shit. So that's cool. Typo member name, struct foods and member name value. Did you mean value? Cool. That's cool. I mean, the reason I like LLVM, like obviously GCC is open source, right? But LLVM just seems easier to contribute to because it's more modular. And I don't even know if it's necessarily that it's easier to contribute to, but just that because like, then again, that's LLVM. I don't know if that's true for Clang itself, but maybe like because of the work that has been done to LLVM by like Rust and other languages that use it as a backend, maybe that's why Clang's been able to have better diagnostics, whereas GCC struggles with that. I don't know. Okay. Clang is where it's deliberately designed from scratch with readability as a goal. Right. So GCC just hasn't really caught up. I do like that Clang exists, by the way. I think that even in, you know, this seemingly communist, FOSS, you know, for free and open source software movement, or like whatever, like space, having competition is still really important to just have things be good, and I think that's really cool. I'm a big supporter of that. Hold on, is it Control L to clear? Yeah, okay, I'll do that from now on instead of spamming C. So I think this builds right. I wasn't paying attention. Do I need to commit anything? I don't know what's different. Just update submodules. Okay, so I can git add. What's it? I'll add XFBIN. Ooh. No, include. Yeah, just include. Get status. Good. So I can commit. Change struct to class, since a struct should represent data as like pure data. that's really vague, but whatever. They can add all for the rest to just update submodules to work for Clang. ++. Push. Cool. So now I'm on Clang, and let's see those diagnostics. So yep, that's all good. Now for the actual coding again. So yeah, so this macro, again, now it only works for GCC and Clang. GCC and Clang, and as you just tested, it does work because it can pass on Clang, so that's cool. But yeah, so as I was saying, like half an hour ago, I now have this try thing, which I want to keep using because it just helps things be so much less verbose, which I think is really cool. And then we have more error handling here, and yeah. Yep. So parse index is next, right? Because I'm gonna skip the decryptor for now because it's not really that important. But I do want to get the other stuff working. So here I can actually go ahead and use, I think, open IMHEX to make use of my own documentation that I did. As well, I'll just show. Okay, just froze it somehow. Weird. IMHEX. Open a recent file. Player called param, and then in the pattern editor, open a pattern. Browse. Should we have a recent here? There we go. Yep. So this is my file. I can see this all here. And yep. So index starts there. And this stuff has been skipped because I mean it's not relevant, so I can just skip it, and I probably will just skip it. So let me go back to my thing here. I'll leave my binary library open for now because I don't know if I might come back to it. So yeah, so first thing is data.change pause, size. Actually, this one I'll just do explicit. It's the size of a chunk header, which I think is actually a constant in my thingy. Let me just find this real quick. Yeah, so XFBIN has chunk header size. This, I believe, can be moved to my reader class because I'm only using it there. So let me add that like here, I guess, at the top. So you got chunk header size, which is 12. And that means I'm just avoiding having magic numbers. So take notes, kids. And this would be XFBIN reader. I mean, I don't really need to prefix it, I don't think, but do I need to actually? No, I don't. So chunk, header size. Yep. With a comment should be good. Useless metadata. Straight up. That is literally what it is. Okay. And then we start with the actual data here. Holy speakosis. So I have this information. What does it start with? It starts with, because like not all this is actually useful per se. So I could read it into a struct. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So this was all good. The XFBIN reader class, it will contain the index struct. Ooh, mind you, I need to write it as well. Change of plan then. The index struct will not be there. I'll make it separate and call it NUCC index. How do I do that? So XFBIN HPP detail error XFBIN reader. I'll have, yeah, a new file. Makes sense that the user can see. It's already NUCC XFBIN, so I'll just call it index to HPP and add the usual. So if not defined, what's my convention? Kojo XFBIN HPP. Oh, it's in just namespace Kojo, so I'm not even using NUCC. Ooh, that's not good. I think it should be in namespace NUCC, to be fair. Now I'm not so sure. Because, like, obviously I just want to have conflicting binary names. Okay, in that case, I'll do this. This isn't XFBIN yet. So this is XFBIN/index. So I'll do Kojo XFBIN index. If and def, define endif. Or just end. No, what? Yeah, endif, that's correct. And then we'll have namespace Kojo, right? But my class will be called nucc index, as opposed to just index, which is fine enough. I don't know if well, probably will have private fields, but anyway, so that's that. And it'll include, it will not include the XFBIN class. Is that correct? It doesn't. Yeah, because like it only needs to know its own thing. But it will need to include binary dot hpp. So kojo/binary.hpp, and see if that compiles. Well, actually, it's not included, so it won't compile. It won't get picked up yet. I don't have to do that. Right, public. Yeah, so I'll just kind of lay out the struct here. Mind you, no, well, actually, NGC index isn't really a class. It actually is a struct in this case. Yeah, no, it is a struct. So I'll call it struct, and it will just contain the data. So I can copy my file here again. We have a U32. I can't really do that, can I? Standard uint32t chunk. I just realized I can use Kojo. Well, not really. Like Kojo. What's Kojo type abbreviations U8. I mean, it's obviously very long though, so it's not really convenient, is it? Like in theory. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Standard uint32t. Chunk type count. I believe that's all I need. You never know with like C++ if like you need to add some extra qualifications or not. Chunk, I mean obviously you do, but whatever. Chunk type size. File path count, file path size. Okay. So you go file path and chunk name, I think. And chunk map count, chunk map size. And then map indices count. What the hell? How did I mess it up? That's weird. Okay, try that again. Chunk type should be file path. Type should be name. Name should be map. Map should be map indices. And then extra map indices, right? Just that. Okay. Counter size. Count. Is there a size? There isn't a size. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's that. Now, how do I copy this? Like, I only want to copy into that part of the data, because everything else is like an array or a struct. Ooh. I assume if I have an array, it has to be const at compile time. But like, can I? have it known at the creation time. Like if all these fields are const, will it then allow me to have a standard array? Well, no, because it has to be const expr. No, it wouldn't work like that, I don't think. So I can't use an array like that because it is dynamically sized. And in fact, just heap allocated, isn't it? That's no good either. Like how would I mem copy this into a struct if it has dynamic things? I don't know. I don't know indeed. Can I mem copy a struct but only a certain size? What I can do is wrap this in its own struct, right? Called like static data. So like struct, and then just call it static data. Or like sizes. Right? So then I can target that specifically. But I still don't have like a type. I can use type of maybe. And that might work. Let's try this and see what happens. And then after that I would have chunk types, paths, names, maps, and indices. So standard vector, I'd have to use chunk. Sorry, of what? There's strings. I'll use standard string. Yeah. Yeah, it has to store it. Well, hold on. Am I being silly? I am being silly. This stuff doesn't matter. What does matter is these strings, because they will be used by the XFBIN class. It's why here I have the types, paths, and names. So the counts are irrelevant, but the types, paths, and names are relevant. So I will actually don't need any UTC index then as a file. I don't think. So I'm going to copy this. Going to go back to the reader. I mean, I use it for both reading and writing though, so I guess it is fairly useful. So maybe I'll do this. I'll call this NUTC index sizes. And then I will move this into detail, I think. That looks good to me. So then I can go to reader. I can include XFBIN / detail / XF include .hpp. I don't really need to call it XFBIN reader, but well, no, because that's what the class is called, I guess. Whatever. And then great. Here I can then do NUCC index sizes, right? So auto sizes equals try data.read struct NUCC index sizes. Yeah, that is correct. And I don't my LSP, so I can actually verify that that's correct usage. So I'll have a look here instead. Read struct, yeah, no arguments, and just does that. So that should work. So let's try compiling this. Okay, I don't know why it's so slow. File not found. Did I call it include? What? That's crazy. I just said I wasn't going to use C anymore. I'm going to use Control L to clear. Okay, looks like we got some useful error messages. I don't know why I have this so small, considering my code doesn't even... Yeah, I can like have it as big as my camera. And change it as at will, right? Now matching member function for call to peak. This is in binary HTTP on line 23. Nope, sorry, line 400. This is in read struct. Oh, I said peak. It should be peak struct, shouldn't it? Yeah, it should be peak struct. Cool, I found a bug. So compile that. I'm surprised I didn't. Well, I guess I wouldn't know until you use it. That's my issue with how C++ templates work. Like, most of these are only verified on use, which isn't really what I want. And then I did it again. Git add, git commit, fix read struct to call peak struct instead of just peak. Git push. Control L to clear. Go back here. Control L to clear. We're going to git submodule update remote. Did it again, and then cmake build. It is really slow, I feel, compared to previous compilations. And it was the same for GCC. I don't know why it's so slow right now. Maybe it likes to do with like my process tree or something, my processes. I don't know how to manage my processes properly right now. So like I have no idea how many of these are actually like important. Like Flameshot shouldn't be open because I don't use Flameshot. But I also don't know, like I don't know how to kill it. Like I don't know. I mean, I can do some research, but anyway, that built. Nothing to commit though, yet. Okay. So from sizes, we then need to read into the XFBIN. So I have should probably use my fucking things a bit more. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So I have results is what I'm writing to. And I want to write to types, paths, and names. So I think it's types first, right? Yeah, so first is file, no, first is chunk types, yeah. So for int, well, for size I equals 0. Mind you, it is guaranteed to be a maximum size of uint32t. So I equals 0, I is less than sizes dot chunk type count, I plus plus. You can't complete that. Chunk type count. Well, I guess the compiler will tell me. Result dot types dot push back. Well, I'll do it like this. Hold on. Switch. So string view is for null-terminated strings. I said I want to change this, but for now it's whatever. Well, I do want to change it though, but whatever. So results returns a string view, which is good because I can push a string view, I believe. So what I'll do is I'll create that as a variable. And the compiler can optimize it out if it wants to, right? So I'll include it for clarity. Wrong thing. Yep. So standard. Well, actually auto chunk type equals try data dot read standard. Ooh, I don't need to use that because I'm using the type abbreviations. So I can actually just use SV, right? Yep. So SV. Assuming I kept it. I did keep it. So SV. That's it, I think. Can you tell I made the library myself? I know it inside and out. Read. Yeah. So make this const as well. Fucking hell, man. Shift I, sorry. Okay, const auto here. Same here. These should really be const where they are. Okay. Result dot types dot pushback and place back. Well, that uses the constructor, to be fair. But is there a difference for this? I guess not. Oh, whatever. I'll use place back. And give that a try. Types is a private member of Kojo XFBIN. Yeah, so XFBIN reader kind of needs like access, unfortunately. So that's all correct. Also the version, I forgot to check that. The version is not a variable. Okay. So I need to have like friend, C++ friend class, because like XFBIN reader should be able to write to that. Geeks for geeks. Actually no. CVP reference. Ooh, that's for. Never mind. That's actually not what that was. Okay. How do I access a? How do I let a particular class access private fields, members of another? Yep, I thought so. So I need to then change the order which I include things, because I need to include XFBIN reader here, but I can't really do that. So I need to forward declare XFBIN reader. So class XFBIN reader. That might actually just work. So maybe I don't need to include anything. But then I say friend XFBIN reader, right? Class, I guess. Or does it just work even without it then? Okay, I fully expect a for declaration error here. Alright. Undefined, whatever. Or maybe it just has a symbol, and then it's fine. No shot. Wow. So it's actually purely symbolic. Which means that I don't even need to... I mean, like, I guess this is, in a way, for declaring it, but, like... Okay, cool. One of the many quirks of C++. So then I can just... continue. Sick. So I'll do this for every single type, and by every single, there's only, like, 3, so... chunk type... Yeah, replace that with file path. And this will be name. Ooh. Yeah. Types, paths. Okay. Should work. I gotta stop doing that. It is really slow. What do I do? I know that for like a Linux, like the solution generally isn't a hard reboot, because that's what you do in Windows, but Linux should really have a much better uptime. I did it again. It's fine. So one thing I should notice, the size, like some of these variables aren't even used, but since but like there's no really there's not much harm in it though, in having them anyway. What I can do though is within the index, I believe I can mark a field as unused. Is there a way in C++ to mark a struct field as unused? Okay, so I'll use maybe unused in this case. I do remember this for reasons I can't remember, but that's maybe unused. Yep, and I have that for a few other ones, so I'll just copy that and paste it, I assume. Oh, it's a Shift P to paste before. Yes, okay. That's very handy to remember. So that's maybe unused. That's maybe unused. That's also unused. Yeah, so these sizes, I don't even know why they're in the file. I mean, like, this format is so dumb. Like, the shit that's in it isn't even used properly, but that is what it is. Okay. Whoops. Ooh, right. Okay, so that's that. So now we've pushed all the names and all that back to HXD. Then you have the chunk maps and chunk indices. So I believe the data structure is here, right? Yeah, we got a chunk map there, and then a map. So we need to define a chunk map. What the fuck? Oh, right, because I'm using an older convention. Yeah, so chunk map should be like this, and extra indices should be like this as well. Just check I have that consistent with other things too. Seems so. So I got a chunk map, and then just push it. So for standard U32T, I shouldn't be writing this out, but whatever. Sizes dot chunk map count. Right. We have a const auto. Yeah, chunk map, and I think I can just read it as a data structure as well. So chunk maps, you can see that these are structs with type index, file path index, chunk name index. Obviously, I'll just check that those are actually also correctly ordered here with type, path, and name. Type, path, and name. Yep. So that would be boom, boom, chunk map equals try data.read struct XFBIN chunk map. Isn't it so convenient? What a cool library. Result dot maps. Yep. Dot mplace back. Push back in this case. Chunk map. You know what? I'll use pushback for these two because I don't understand why I would use mplace in this case. Maybe I'm stupid, but I can optimize it later if need be. And after that, we have chunk map indices. There's also extra map indices, but I forget what the order is for those. I need to pull up my actual file, which I think I can here. Save some time. It's extra map indices and then chunk map indices. Yeah. So extra map indices. Just copy this. They are also a data structure, I believe, like as opposed to just one variable. Okay, I don't have it here, but yeah. But it would be. So it'd be extra. Chunk map would be extra map indices count. Instead of chunk map, would use extra indices. I believe that's what it's called. And result dot extra indices dot pushback. Yep. And then to finish it off, we just have the map indices. So chunk name just becomes map indices. It'd be a U32, I think. Yep. And map indices. Right. So this is map index. Just realized. It's a single one. Same here, extra map. Well, no, those are indices, that's fine. Okay. Cool. So that should just work now. Whoopsie daisy. Is that it though? For the index. Then I have no. That's it. Yeah, that's all the data. Everything else is just like access functions. But that's different. That's an API. So I'll compile this. Pray to God it compiles. Please. Please. Please compile. I can't speak. Please compile. Okay. Ooh, const. What's the const stuff? Okay, here's where we'll see how nice Clang is with his error messages. No matching member function for call to pushback. For strings, yeah. To be fair, I did actually know that, so I don't know why I switched it. I can't tell if that's all the same thing. So I'm going to change these back to mplace back. Pushback is for a string, but because it's actually taking the standard string view as an argument to the constructor, I should actually be using mplace back. So that is a whoopsie on my part that I literally acknowledged and then forgot about. Or I'm stupid and it doesn't work anyway. Seems like it does work. No member named map indices count on line 82. What is it called then? Extra map indices count, chunk map indices count. What's weird is that the order's like this, yet the extra ones come first in the file. But anyway, chunk map indices count. So chunk map indices count. Probably should have read the other warnings, or errors. But the thing is, like, you don't know how many errors are like the result of one. No member named map indices count. Did I even save? Fucking hell. Whoa. What's that? I don't know what that was. Huh? Did I save or what? I saved 100%. My computer is on a mission to make me schizophrenic, apparently. Try again. What? That's weird. It's not acknowledging that I'm changing the fucking thing. There's also a different error here. Data reads... Oh yeah, right, the endianness. U32, first of all, and also changes to standard endian big. That's all that is. Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's some issue with the cache there. But that compiled. So now I will... That's it, right? I'm done for that. So I'll git add all, git commit, write reader logic for... or instructions for NCC index information, and push that. Clear ruse, and yeah, I think we're good. This is uses metadata. The sizes are there. The user sizes here. It's fairly easy to read, right? I'm just thinking, in Rust, this would look so much nicer. It would be for I in 0 to sizes dot chunk map count, or like something like that, without this even. I think I'm messing up the syntax here a bit, but whatever. Or maybe I'm not, in which case I'm the goat. And then you should like let chunk map equal data dot read struct XFBIN chunk map question mark, and then results dot maps dot push. I probably chunk map. God damn, that's beautiful. But you know what? We're damn close, and that's what matters. Is it actually possible to get a range-based loop like that in C++? Like, I mean, like, you could like define an array, but like, is it optimized? I mean, it doesn't matter. I do prefer, well, no, I don't prefer index-based loops per se, but I do appreciate that they're not flawed. They're pretty damn good, actually. In fact, these should be, let me just make this a bit simpler. There we go. C++, if it was a good language. Yeah, this looks good. Cool. Just add that as well. Replace very simple, very straightforward. Okay. Nice. We like that. We do like that. So now that that's done, I do the actual parsing of the chunks. So this is the hard part. It's particularly hard because it never stops getting difficult. Because I need to, you know, to finish this library, I need to support every possible format. So that'll be fun. But the basic thing's there so far. I could test this out, actually. I do have an XFBIN file now. So maybe, do I have a testing suite? I do. Test, main CBP. That's for dragging it on. Whatever. So I'd pass in the file path. So XFBIN from argv1. I really hate this pattern. Oh, by the way, well, no, yeah. I made a video about C3 error handling, which I think is a lot nicer, but whatever. Yeah. In C3, by the way, I would just do auto XFBIN. Then I would do, well, I mean, maybe not auto, but I'll do that. Then I'll do if catch like error equals XFBIN, something like that. And then XFBIN will just become unwrapped afterwards. So then I can just do this, which is, you know, like it's a subtle difference, but it is quite nice because it means I don't have to like have maybe XFBIN and XFBIN, and which is cool. But I think this actually is fine. Here I'd get version, also print line XFBIN dot, I don't know. Ooh, I don't really have an API for this, do I? To get like the types and stuff. Shit. But I should. In fact, I need to have a way to write to XFBINs, like a whole API for that. But anyway, not like this. For now, I'll just do auto get types is const returns a reference to the vector. I think would make sense as opposed to like a span or something. I could do a span. What is the best way to write a getter function that for a standard vector in C++? By reference, not by copy. Because I could just return it by reference, but that's mutable access. So no span. Oh. I specifically want a const getter. Okay, so my intuition was correct. So standard span const whatever. Okay, so standard span. Ooh, standard string view. I think I can use. Actually, if I'm returning a standard vector or standard string, can I? Or if it's a getter 4, can I return a standard span standard string view? This is the correct way to use AI. No. That's true. Okay. Const standard string. What the fuck? I don't know why I do that. Can I just remember how to fucking keybinds? I don't know, like if I need to just like get used to my keybinds, or if I need to like change this. I don't like how on Arch the special workspaces are overlays that go over your normal ones. Like I do want them to be actual like switchable ones, because otherwise like exiting them is a real pain. Anyway, standard string const, right? Yeah. If it's a getter, should I just have it? Yeah, I should. Return types. That's not correct. No way. Or maybe it does work, because implicit conversion. It literally works. That's crazy. Get items. Mine's get types. So, H, or not. Go back to my testing. Sweet. Did I hook this? When? That's confusing. XFBIN.getTypes. Well, I guess I probably should do it like this, right? Auto types equals XFBIN dot get types, and then const as well. In fact, same here. And then for even this, because I'm not really doing anything with it. For auto type in types. The fuck? Weird noises. Output type, which is a string, so that should be fine. And I'll just do, yeah, standard print line types. Yeah. Have a little buffer here. Version. Alright, let's see if this works. Should do. Let's check that. Am I even compiling it in the first place though? CMake lists, go down. Yeah, it's on. Should work then, I think. Git. Well, it's not in the. Is it? No, I changed something, didn't I? Wait, test. Is the test file in my Git? That's weird. It probably shouldn't be. My avatar. Repos. That's weird. Yeah, the test should really be hidden. The thing is, like for CMake, it kind of needs to be there, or else the whole thing just doesn't work. I'll leave it for now. I'll sort it out later. Hold on, inbox. 2 errors, DLL's missing. Oh no. What was this? Oh boy. God, okay. Little side rant. This is so annoying. I'm a big fan of modular software, and the fact that Windows just tells you, you don't have these DLLs, try reinstalling the program. Like, how about you just tell the user to find the DLLs, or like, if like, especially for like libs, like standard C++, right? It's like such a common thing. Why could Windows just direct the user to download them? Because otherwise, I have to recompile my things and like package in the like C++ standard library, right? Which like inflates the binaries hugely. Like just so annoying. Cool. I'm glad this person made an issue. And very detailed too. Holy GitHub. Wrong thing. Yeah, so it's just an exe. Also, I'm surprised this tool got so much attention, by the way. I mean, like, I say so much, like 2 stars, but like, considering all it does is just, what does it even do? It organizes book volumes with pages split into different folders into one folder. Yeah. Maybe. Anyway, sorry about that. Because this project was compiled with C++, and I forgot to how do I say this? Since this project was compiled with C++, it requires the C++ standard library, lib standard C++, which will only work if you have yeah. The C, libgcc, and C++ and libraries, and C++, libgcc, and since I need these libraries to compile in the first place, that means the tool works for me and any other plus developer. What? Don't leave. Cancel. What I click to leave? Okay. But I can... How does a person download lib standard C++ and lib GCC? How would I direct a user to download the lib GCC and lib standard C++ modules libraries on Windows to use my C++ tools that do not have them compiled in? What does the zip archive actually contain here? I don't know. Should I just do this now? I don't really want to do right now. Like it's already like 11 o'clock. This is sorry, I'm confused. I guess I'll just check it. I don't want to like install the whole thing though. I just want to like inspect the thing. Hold on, let me cancel this. Is there a way to just like inspect a zip archive without actually opening it? Validate? Nope. Hey, how do I inspect a zip archive's contents before downloading it off the web? Damn. From Linux. Okay, cool, shit. I didn't know you could do that. Do I have zip info? Yikes. Zip info, I do. Sick. So, what's it? Curl. Okay, sorry, I need to copy the link address. Curl link. Oh, fuck's sake. Curl link that. Long link, I suppose I'm not surprised. And then pipe that into zip. Zip info with a dash. Failure writing up a destination. Sick. I can use curl l. Curl. Oh, cool. I didn't know you could do that. Okay, sorry. Curl l this URL. Unzip l dev standard in. Oh, but that just unzips it to standard in. Which I guess is safe enough. Is that L or 1? That's an L, right? Yeah. Failure. Again. Why is that? End of central directory signature not found. Is it because like it needs to be in quotation marks or? Let me try again. Curl. Okay, sorry, it's L. It's SL actually. SL. In quotation marks, we'll do this. Pipe that into zip info dash. Sick. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to download it. Save the downloads. It's like 300 megabytes. For some reason, I don't know why it's 300 megabytes. I don't know what it actually contains. I think it's the whole like, the whole fucking tool chain. Which is not what I want. But okay. Jesus Christ. No. Yes, no, I was right. Sorry. Boom, boom. Downloads. WinLibs. Can I inspect it? It wants 7-zip. I do not have 7-zip installed. Should I install 7-zip then? Okay. Pacman. Well, yay. 7Z. Or ZZ. Okay. 7-zip. 7-zip. Password. Yes. Okay. Cool. Look how fast that was. Yeah, so it contains literally everything. Can I like inspect it? No. Okay. Fuck me. CD downloads. Unzip WinLibs. What's a temp file? Replace. No. Cancel. Wait, so it already replaced it. CT minGW. Okay. LA lib. There's a DLL A file. Okay. LA bin. Lib Wait, libgcc. No. I mean, their standard C++ 6. Okay, there we go, sent. Holy detour. Right, back to what I was actually doing. I'll actually leave this open so I don't actually forget, because I do want to resolve that issue. What the fuck was I doing? What the fuck was I doing? Test. What about it? Yeah. I said I would remove the test later, but right now I don't care. That's what I said. Yeah, okay, fine. What's different though? What's modified in XFBIN or HTTP? Oh right, the get methods thing. Okay. So it's compiled. I don't know. I can't remember where it's compiled to. I guess in builds, right? Oh, it's there. I'm blind. XFBIN libtest. So builds slash. Would I do dot slash? Yeah. Dot slash build slash XFBIN libtest on document slash downloads slash player clubparam.bin.xfbin. Try to access data at address, but data ends at address. What? That's an unusual error. Cannot be found. Huh? Can you not use use quotation marks? I assume this is not a Linux error. I mean, not a my error. I assume that this is a Linux error. Too few arguments. Oh, maybe not. Oh wait, no, sorry. This is an error. Yeah, it's just the way I handle it. It's really weird. Try to access data at address. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously if I had like a proper tool, it'd be different. I guess I'll just like make this a bit more obvious. Test in here. I'll add a thing at the start. That says center print line. Welcome to the XFBIN lib testing ground. Yeah, just so it's obvious that I'm actually, using that. And we need to recompile. Which will take ages. What's here? Nothing. Boom, boom, boom. Gotta get. Run it again. Okay, try to access data at address this, but data ends at address this. What the fuck? I don't actually know what this even... I mean, like, I know what it means, but, like, it's actually not that useful. What's the actual error? Like, I'm not actually, like, saying what the error is. like, it's, like, not like a useful way. Like, I should probably, like, include what the error actually is, as opposed to just saying error. Like, it should include the type of the error as well in the message. I also have no idea where it is. There's no, like, stack trace. There probably is a way to stack trace, to be fair. Like, with, like, a debugger, but I don't know what the fuck it is right now. Is it this? Yeah. So if I check my error handling system, yeah, because like usually on Windows it'll tell you process returned with this, but in this case it doesn't. So in the error thing, these are the strings, right? Yeah. So I believe, I mean, yeah, like it should output the code, really. I can't though, right? Yeah, you know, I can do that manually. So I'd go back to my testing, and I'd also output error code, make it 03. Maybe XFBIN .error .code. Right. Try this again. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to compile. No member named code in Kojo XFBIN error. See, that's just not true, is it? Maybe it is. You don't know what to do about that. It's there. It's static as well. Oh, toString is here, isn't it? Sorry. toString is here. toCode returns... Why is it called toCode? It should probably be called getCode, right? Or like getString. Nah, toCode's fine then. All these naming conventions, man. If only we had like a universal standard that was battle tested. So I'd use toCode, of course, because I don't... Yeah. Well, not of course necessarily, but... Like, I don't have to do that. I could make code just be a reference. But that kind of defeats the purpose of having an actual variable. Like the logic of it. 99. Okay, so yeah, so it's an unrecognized error. And it is from my binary library. Okay? And so I'm going to access data at this thing, but data ends at that address. Now what's weird is that usually it should be saying this if it's like exceeded this. But it looks like this is quite weird. I actually don't know what's going on here. Some kind of read error. Is it because I can't access the file if it's currently open in IMHEX? I assume no, because it's fine in Windows. I don't know. The error could literally be anywhere, and I have no way of tracking when it happened without reflection. You know? Obviously, it'd be great with C++ reflection, because then I can actually keep track of things, but I can't do that in my current library. what to do then? I can run GDB. It's not ideal though. But you know what, let's give it a try. Build / XFBIN libtest. Enable bug info ID, sure. No debugging symbols found. Quit. Okay. I didn't compile it with debug flags. Ooh, speaking of flags, actually, I was looking at this. when I compile, I should, like when I'm compiling for debugging, I should use optimization level 0. But when I'm compiling with for build, it should be with optimization level 2. Now for Clang, I don't know what the flags are, if they're different or not, but I need to remember to do that at some point. I'll leave it for now, but definitely later. Especially because this is a library actually, but for the testing ground, I should be doing that. Sick. So I don't know where it's crashing. It's an out of bounds error. I know that much. So it's trying to access data out of bounds, but memory out of bounds. But I have no idea. I have no way of knowing how or why, or like where. Sorry, it's occurring. I can try just doing this. As a quick like test, first of all. Not really what I want to do, but that's kind of the best I can do with my limited information right now. Okay, so that works. Then I can try leaving this out. So it's just a header. That's not going to work. Wait, what? I compiled? Oh, right, because that's just ignored after the return statement. That's weird how that compiles, but fair enough. Okay. Interesting. So it is the parse index that causes an issue, I assume. Parse chunks does nothing, so. Ooh, why does it go out of bounds? That's really strange. Can it be to do with the counts? Yes, okay, that's right. So the endiness is definitely at play here. That is annoying. I can't specify the endiness for the structs. That is actually massively problematic. Fuck. Ooh, is it possible to have my C++ program change its endiness for mem copying temporarily? But what if I'm mem copying an entire struct of integers? Individually? Fuck, man. Fuck. Okay, this is actually horrible. This is definitely problematic. Well, oh well. I guess it can't be helped. So I need to make this code a bit more verbose now. But it will still work, don't worry. Fear not, dear viewer. I will solve this issue in a jiffy. So here we have this. Instead of just reading the struct, then I'll read the separate values. So fucking hell. The issue is here with this header. So I'll create a auto sizes equals. I'm not doing that. Just NTC index sizes. Sizes. Ooh, can I initialize the fields? Probably not by calling functions, to be fair. Maybe I can. Should I try that? Equals. So like dot chunk type count. Nah, fuck that. It's just overcomplicating things, and it probably won't work anyway. Right, so we'll say auto chunk type count equals try data dot read standard U32 standard endian big. I should probably unite these, but do it later. And yep, I need to copy out the thing exactly. Sorry. I would do sizes dot. So I don't need this. And let me just check the contents. So I have it here, don't I? So chunk type count, file path count, chunk name count, chunk map count. Yeah, and I'll just skip the rest. So I'll just do data dot change pause size of U32. That's what we're doing. So I got file path count, chunk name count, chunk map count. That's probably not correct. No, that is correct. Chunk map count, and then indices and extra map indices. Okay. And that's it actually. So chunk map indices and extra map indices. Oh my god. I'm definitely not making good use of the Vim keybinds here. Okay. And I'll try to like make these uniform. Right. So that's the same. And then down here, this also needs to be the correct endianness. So for chunk map, you have type index, path index, name index. So chunk map, chunk map. And then, yeah, so type index equals try data dot read. Did I use try? I did. Data dot read U32 standard endian big. And do that for type index, path index, and name index. CT boom, path, CT boom, okay. CT boom, name index. Okay, that should work. In fact, in this case, I can actually just emplace back. I think I will. In which case, we'll do auto. I know it's a bit weird, but I think this is more efficient. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong, to be fair. Well, once copies it as well. I don't know, whatever. Path index, name index. If you are watching this part of the video and you know if that's inefficient, then let me know. Yeah. Or like pointless, whatever, I don't know. Extra indices, similar pattern. These can actually be const now. You might ask why I don't do it there for this one, but shh. So auto, well, because actually not all the fields are initialized, that's why. So const auto what? Name index, map index. Why am I doing that by hand? Just copy it, but whatever. Name index and map index. Okay, so that should now work, I believe. Let's compile. It compiles, that's a good first sign. And there we go. You have the types, and then let me also print the other stuff. So we'll go out of here, go to test, main. Just, yeah, do this. Get types, get paths, and names. Which means I need to also add it here. Get types. Paths. And names. Yep. That's correct. Compile again. It is really slow. Okay, and then build. Not build. Run the build file. Cool. So there are no names. There are names. Sorry, I just fucked it up. This does not matter anymore. Just fix the formatting. Actually interesting how this works. So the reason that there's an extra space here is because there's actually an empty thing, as you will see in a second. But it's better illustrated if I first actually compile it to print properly. Yep. So you'll see here for the paths, these invisible lines are because there actually is a path here. If we go to imhex. You see that if I inspect the chunk file paths, you have 0 and 1. The 0, 1 is just a string of length 0 because it's a null file, null chunk. It's an empty chunk. And then here for chunk names as well, same thing for the other two. And the chunks are here actually, and you'll see these first two chunks have a size of 0. And their type is entity chunk null. I think this one too, right? Yep. Then this one is player color param, has size, and then the other one is page. So that's just why that happens. But yeah, it works. So I can go ahead and commit this. Well, add first. Fix endiness issues. Yeah. It is lucky that my system is actually little endian, because otherwise I would have done that unwittingly, which would have been terrible for other people on different endian. I mean, to be fair, I think most systems use little endian anyway, but you know, you do want to have a system that's like quite reliable. But yeah, it's so annoying that you can't easily do that on like in C++, like the endianness stuff. It's actually so annoying. I think in Rust is considerably more standardized. But oh well, that is C++ for you. Cool. So that's being committed, it's been pushed. We should be being chilling. Go to my repos again. Not really sure why I closed it in the first place. But yeah, there it is. Well, it's now 11:35, so I'm going to leave it there for tonight. But yeah, good progress. I mean, to be fair, I didn't really do too much, but it is something. The next thing will be parsing the chunks, and that will be the death of me. So, like, it's a chunk parsing that made me want to switch to Rust for this particular project, because because I got the whole library structure was so hard to do properly, and I really hope I can get that to be better this time. Like, find a better way to do it this time. So I'll be doing that in the next video. So yeah, like and subscribe for more C++. And Clang, yeah, sorry, I should probably mention Clang. Yeah, I mean, the error messages are just easier to work with, right? Because like I just got like this massive list of template errors, and in specific, it tells me like what the errors are. I haven't really like faced huge mistakes because I don't really make mistakes that often. Usually when I make a mistake, it's not a syntax error, it's something else. So I'll see how many of those I actually do get, but when I do get them, I hope that they are handy. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So I'll keep using Clang for all my projects. I guess I'll change my global settings at some point to use Clang. I'll figure that out whenever. But yeah, I mean, right now I'm not really writing much C++ anyway. Like right now, the projects I'm focusing on are this, the IAM hex thing, and I was doing something with like QML, but I probably won't continue with that for a while, just because I can't be bothered. So yeah, if anything, I'll be developing the Rust library, the Rust XFBIN library alongside this one. So I will continue that to some point. But I do want to make some considerable progress on the C++ one first. But yeah, that is that really. See you in the next video.